Okay. Oh, it's a bit low. No problem. So, let's. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
We'll do a little bit of warming up here. Let the body come out of the ground, kind of down. Go back a bit. Yes. Just let the heels fully land into the ground. Okay. Just pulling up onto the toes. Settling down, pull the toes up, as if you're kind of pulling them up towards your face. Really draw them up. And then sink up, pull up, sink back into the heel. Nice. And then just pressing the big toe into the ground. Really press it down nice and strong. Pull the other toes up. And then pull the big toe up, press the other toes down. And then again, press the big toe. Press the other toes down. Okay, just rocking side to side onto the blades. Okay, really lightly, just bouncing on one side. Swing way forward. Nice and loose. Okay, over the front, out to the side. And then rolling the knee. Good, and then to the front, same. Okay, good, and then to the other side. Pass forward. Good, over to the side. Yes. 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 And then roll in big circles. So, and then to the front. If you can, try and keep the foot off the ground. Can't quite do it on this side. Okay, just loosening the hips. Either way. Okay, circling, rotating the hips here. And just with the elbows, rotating back, hold, and then release it. Hold, release, hold, release. And then just using the hands, fully rotating, hold it, release, hold it, release. Just working the shoulders. And forwards. alternating the shoulders. And then rolling in figure of eight into the whole joint. Good. And this with the head, the front, down to the chest, rolling up, up, folding down to the chest, go to the sides, to one's shoulder, and change the side, down. Okay, just using the top of the head, just down at a 45-degree angle. Keep it nice and light. Shouldn't be any pain at all. If there is, don't take it so far. And the other side. Taking all the way across, rolling. In this case, just watch the shoulder, don't let this come out, so let the opposite shoulder also find the ground. So really trying to stretch, open out this side. And changing sides. And let the opposite shoulder drag down a little bit as also. Good, and then just both hands onto the front, pressing in and really pushing forward with the head, in and down. Try and feel the connection into the lower back. Nice and long with the neck, don't let it collapse. Good, and then just the hands at the back, you're going to close everything down. And if you bring the elbows together, as you're going to squeeze everything down. And then take a nice deep breath in. As you open out, stretch everything back. So a little bit of weight pushing back into the head from the hands. Close it down. Open it out. Stretch right through the body. One more time, close it down. Open it out. Nice big open movement. So there. Okay, good. Just work a little bit onto the legs, just coming down to a squat position. Sitting into it a little bit. The weight, find the heel. Just watch the knees don't collapse in, so feel that you're kind of bridging with the legs. Down. Down. Okay, just very gently, just coming down. Reach the hands into the ground. Keep the spine nice and long, rolling back up, straightening the legs. So first load the hips down and then reach into the ground. Nice and slow. Back up here and then straightening through the legs. Down, in, nice and slow. Up. Down. This is quite easy, you can also put the hands here, down, reaching back up, straighten, load the hip, fall into it, down, in, down. Okay, looking the legs side to side, keeping the feet planted. Okay, and just hold in one side, let the hips go away from this leg. So you're going to create a triangle with the 2 feet and the hip. The hips are going to pull back, so they're not going to go straight down this line. They're going to pull back. use the hands as a kind of counterbalance. You can put the hands like this or like this, whatever you want with it. Just pull the hips back. If you feel like it, put the hands into the ground. Reach it back into the center, and then draw the hips away. Balance with the hands. Pull the hips and the hands apart. Planted most of the weight in the heels. You need to reach down to the ground. Good. And then just straighten both legs. So here, just get the hands onto the same line. Let the upper body relax. Open the knees at the back. And then if you can from here, just drop the elbows into the ground. Let the head just fall into the arms. And then from this position, just hook the hands behind the back. Press up through the shoulders, as if you're pressing the chest into the ground as you're drawing the hands up. Keep the hips hinging back. Stretch right up through it. Drop the head into the ground also if you like. Good. Slowly release it. Just going to walk the hands forward. Stretch through the spine. Pull the hips back. Okay, putting one hand shoulder width apart at the same level of the shoulder. Here, down, and you're going to roll the hand up. Stretch the hand right up. Just do 5, 6, one side. Take your time with it, nice and big. Allow the torso really to open out. And then changing sides. Okay, just come back down. Leave the hands where they are. Just walk the feet towards each other. Yeah. Then just settle the legs, settle the body down. And then from here, reach the palms into the ground. And if you, as much as you need to bend the knees to get the palms into the ground. Press the palms in. Let the head release. And nice and slowly start to straighten the legs. Backs of the knees open. Let the hands just fall onto the toes. Straighten more and more. And then very gently just start to pull the body up from the hips. Up, 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 up. Nice and slow. Use the breath as you go. Let the hands pull up, pull up, pull up. Up to the side of the body. Back up there, yeah. Okay. And just shake the hands out. Okay, just rolling the arms here. Okay, just do a little bit of the wrists. First into 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒕, hands over the top. Let the stretch really come in this way. So the joint really bending down towards the elbow. And then keep in contact as you change. 𝒊𝒂𝒕 to the back. As much as possible, let the palm rotate forwards. Spiraling through the whole joint, not just about the wrist. See if you can find it also through the whole joint. There. And then change. There. That's it. Good. Hey, thumb over the top into 𝒊𝒂𝒕. And this time really letting the wrist go this way. So it's going above over the wrist. Change inside. Okay, taking the hand into Sankyo, a little bit out to the side, and again, really try and feel it's going through the whole joint. Strongly on the wrist, but let it find its way through the elbow. So, taking the other side. So, that's it. Good. Okay, taking the fingers, stretch it. So if you're pulling the fingers towards your own center, to the side. And then the last one, rolling over the Shikonage. Let the whole body go with it. So you're really taking the hand. Again, the pressure's on the wrist, but it's also now really going to travel through the whole joint. And let the body really go with this, because the arm's being pulled away. You want to let the body curl into it. Just feel the whole body's going to roll right into it. Roll right into it. That's it. Hinge inside. Yeah, if you can't get this one fully, you can also... no, actually you can't. No, I'm lying. You can't really get away from this one. That's it. Okay, last one. Just working the fingers, pressing them out. Nice and fast. Bam, bam, bam. Full extension. Only fingers click. Okay, grasping the hands. Nice and tight. Yeah. Okay, just tighten them into the body. Nice and tight. And just go back to the whole body. So keeping the hands nice and tight. Just let the whole body loosen. Lower body's nice and heavy. Fists are full. Shoulders released. Pulling down a little bit. Spine's nice and long. And just slowly come into a stop. Release the hands. There. Okay, good. So take a bokeh. We'll go straight in. Let's see. So we'll try and cover a few of the kumitachi. We've got the workshop this weekend. I want to see if we can cover a few more. So we'll work up through 1 and 2 that we've done before. We've done previous weeks, and then we'll look at 3 as well, and we'll look at linking them together also in a kind of set. So we'll start with the first 𝒂𝒏, just nice and big movements, nice and calm, big arcing movement. Really give yourself time to ground the 𝒂. So. Yeah, just play with this. In this case, especially really important for the KUMITACHI and also the Iwase work when we do it with contact. You're going basically through the bokken, through the other person's bokken. What you want to do is really get the sense that what's happening is it's really like a triangle from the back, nice and wide. And it's this idea really of wedging. But what I don't do is be like sharp in the front and really narrow through the cut. So this is also what's also important with the triangle is the back of the triangle. So we can think about the point of it, but really also think about the rear side of the triangle. So basically the width in the cut, and it's going to come really from this first position. So realize you have to be wide in this position, not with the elbows, but with the structure of the shoulders and the body. And then as you go through, see if you can maintain as you go through. So even though you enter into a triangular position, you don't lose the sense of width through the hips and through the shoulders. So just keep a sense of width as you go. And you want all of that width to go towards a point in the sword. But just see if you can basically focus onto a point, but just think about that width coming from the back. It's really going to start with the back foot as well. So the back foot all through. All through. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay, just try it from this position as well. We don't often do this when we do Suburi work, but it's just a special for the footwork. Whenever we do the finish in the KUMITACHI, what you do is you're usually in left hand position, usually in a block or something like this, and then what you do is roll the body back and then press the cut in. We don't often train this kind of cut, but it's got a slightly different dynamic, the same feeling as the first Suburi, but it's really got this motion where always for safety, we're kind of pulling the body back. So when we're working at the first kind of level of distance, which is really just contact with the sword, not with the person at all, what you do is roll the body back and then wedge in the hip. So just try from this position, left side, roll the sword up and cut down. You're also no longer finding the back with this cut as well, so because you don't have time in the form. So just focus on rolling it up, coming down, rolling back, wedging in, rolling back, wedging in. So, that's it. That's it. Yeah, so when you do this, also just watch the footwork. When you go, let the back foot really come back. So when you're training this dynamic, also you want the back foot to really come back, and then the front foot you're going to adjust into it. So it's the adjustment of the front foot which pulls the sword into the Yokomen position. So in this case, you're going to roll back and then let the front foot wedge in with the cut. So don't just in this case do this, step into it. That's what sometimes we would do with it when we're applying it straight in. But feel in this case, just to get the hips working in position, give them a chance, roll back, and then from this position, let that front hip guide in this cut. So feel that the hip's gonna guide it in. So you establish the anchor in the back foot, and then you let the front foot guide the sword in. is this. And you can feel it's 1, 2 with the feet. 1, 2, but it's actually one cut. It's just one thing. So 1. But the footwork is 1, 2. Coming into it. Let's play with it a little bit. Okay. That's it. Yeah, and this gets a little bit, we were looking at this morning also, think about the powers being generated first from the center. So when you apply the hip, it's here at that point. So the hip's being applied from that point in. So don't wait for the focus to apply the hip work or apply the power. So don't think that the focus is the power. The focus is just a kind of snap. It's just that. But the actual power is going to come from the ground and the hip there. So just feel where the power is actually going to come from later. We're not doing it fast, but feel that even at this slow pace, the power is coming from that position. So the cut's already got a root before it lands. If I land it with no root, it's very weak and unstable. So get the sense that the first thing is looking at stability. Stability, and the sword can kind of come through it. So just look at the organization through the cut. It's going to go hit and then weight. And the weight's going to really press from the back foot. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. There we go. Boom. Yeah, good. Nice. Good, we'll go to number 5. So just working on the attack side. Start by just coming down the line, so really getting the hips in, working in. Again, really one of the key things with the attacking roll is the pressure you're going to apply to the other person is going to come from the weight of the body. So I want to really have a cut that's going to be weighted. What I don't want is to throw the sword at the person. So the great thing with the Suburi work is really just practicing the hips. Footwork really heavy. So it's really got to kind of weight through the sword. And again, it's not going to be added with the arms, but it's just going to come from the movement. So the movement is heavy itself. That kind of feeling in. So just focus on delivering a little bit of weight. And that's where the pressure is going to come from for the other person. So they've got to deal with a really heavy, weighted cut through the body. There. There we are. Good. And then do the same thing, just wedging on and off the line, so, or wedging totally off the line. So if you've got the line set up here, the first cut's over to the left side, and then the right side. So you're it's a really dynamic movement. Now think in terms of triangular movements, not kind of what you don't want to do in this case is something like this. Kind of go round with the hip. So don't think about going around, but think about actually entering in. But you're going to do it in a kind of triangular way, and that's where a lot of the work of the Suburi of really going down the line and getting the hips to really initiate the movement and go into Hanmi. It's where this really pays off when you go into the attack. So you want something very direct. Feel that the hips are going to really slice in this way. So just focus on this now. It's a slight different change of hip work, or it's a change of footwork. The hip work's the same. The feet are just going to wedge slightly. There. There. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, don't think that you're sidestep. That's what I mean by it. Don't think that you're actually sidestepping. So you're not doing something like this. So it's not a sidestep. So what it is just an entry off the line. So think, or we do this all the time, especially in Taijutsu work. If you think about like a Riminai or something like this, you enter off the line. So you do something like this, right? So what you don't do is something like that. So it's not a kind of sidestep. When you do a sidestep, it's a sidestep. So when you do sidesteps, it's like something like that. But in this case, it's like a direct entry in. I just can't get straight in. So, but try and get the feeling that you're not stepping around the foot. So the foot is really important. Think that you just travel through it. So you go through the foot here, and then from it through the foot from here. So just think where the footwork's where the power of the movement's gonna come from. It's loaded in the foot. If I go off to the side, it's gonna go that way. But just think that it's gonna slightly wedge there. There. So really travel through the foot as you go. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. There we go. Yeah, that's it, great. And it's really about preserving the weight of the attack as you go in. Nice and heavy. There we go. Great. Very good. Nice. Good. Good. And then we'll go to 7. Just make it really simple. So just starting here, you're just going to go into a 𝒂𝒂𝒿 curve and then thrusting in. They're really just, again, practicing the hip work. And the key one's the transition into the ski. So you've got the cut in the 𝒂𝒂𝒿 position, and then just really focusing on that transference of weight through the footwork. So something very sharp again. And just do this one really straight down the line. So you've got the 𝒂𝒂𝒿 and then release it to the hip. And if you want, you can go into the back, cutting down, thrusting through. Do it as you wish, but just focus on that hip work into number 7, into the ski. That's it. Yeah. Nice. There we go. Yeah, trying to think in number 7 is whether the spiral becomes really clear or really obvious in terms of the body mechanics. So if you're thinking about coiling, what you've got is a coil here in the upper body. So that the hands are doing, the arms are doing this kind of coil from the center work. So the hands are following that line. And also if you think about the lower spirals coming from the hips down to the legs, is really coiling in this way. So the lower body's got this sense of coiling into the ground through. And the finish is really where you've got the full coiled finish. So what I don't do is like a coil with the upper body and nothing with the lower body. This is really like split in terms of the dynamics of the hip work. So feel that hip work, this kind of work really goes through the whole system. So it goes up and it goes down. So it goes right into the body. And again, just try and exaggerate it a little bit, just to get the movement. What you're going to do later is you're going to be receiving down. So the bokken's going to be down. And you've got to basically receive that through, and it's going to kind of spring out of the ground. So the lower spiral is actually more important than the upper. But just get the sense that there's a coil down and out. There's an upper coil and a lower. This goes through. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's it. There we go. Boom. Okay, yeah, just watch this. Watch also the connection with the arms as well. So when you go into the finish, you're in really this kind of position with the body. So the lower hand's still the anchor for the bokken because it's doing the movement this. This hand's really just following. But what you're doing is linking it to the back hip. So the movement's really coming in that position. But really, so really feel that it's got a kind of very clear line from the back hip through the sword. If I'm in, for example, something like that, this is really kind of loaded off the body. So it's kind of in this kind of area. Or I'm kind of trapped in this kind of area and it's kind of in the center line. So just get a feeling what you're doing is really transferring across the body this way. And it's really going to be strongly based in the front hip. What is initially the front hip? This, and it's just allow that to come through and then really establish that connection really strongly. So you're in this kind of position. So it's really, really strong. It's the same kind of position you got with the jump. That it's just a little bit shorter. It's a little bit narrower with the feet and the hands are in a little bit of a different dynamic, but it's got that same kind of feeling. That's it. There we go. Yeah. Good. Nice. That's it. There we go. Nice. Yeah. Okay, we'll just look at the seventh owase. So we'll skip from gon owase straight into this. So you're going to do the attacking roll. Feel now you come in from the left side, striking through. This gets blocked and it gets pressed down. So just feel that pressing into the foot. And now that all that coil work we've just done, it's going to really come out this way. So now you're going to wedge off the line. If you've got the left side posture, you're going to wedge off to the left. This gets blocked on the body and then press down. Now, as soon as I feel that, I want to load into the front foot and then spring out of it. And you're really going to come across the line in this case, or off the line. So you start left side, very simple. It just goes here. 1, 2, get pressed down, and then 3 coils out to the finish. Just practice that again. It's just the dynamic of the hip work. Off the line, receive, off the line to the left. That's it. Yeah, and this is where balance is really important. So just watch this. It's not quite the case when we do it solo where you can get away with a lot, but just watch for this. If I go in with it quite hard and slightly out of balance this way, when I basically, what happens now is as this goes in very brittle in terms of power, it gets kind of pulled out this way. So that brittleness will actually really take me out of balance totally, because if the receiver's very connected and they press through it, the person, you will just get thrown out of the ground. So the body will just either I'll just lose the sword like this, or I'll go with the sword because I'm gripping it too tightly. So just look for something which is like a really soft power. So again, it's to do with weight. And the key thing with the receiving side is I'm not giving up. I'm trying to snake my way into another attack. So it's not also something like this and then coming back out. So it's not like I die halfway through it. So you're really trying to stay alive in it. And the connection needs to stay on this. And then this comes in and I'm really right underneath it. So feel now, just play a little bit with the intention behind it. So you've got this position. This comes in and then it comes in and then you go through it. So just play a little bit with that intention. And my intention is basically to continue the attack. So it's to receive to go back in, not to receive to lose. So this kind of quality, something. And again, it relies on this kind of flexibility. So Hips nice and flexible. That's it, that's it, that's it. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm also think you're also looking for options. So I'm not going in with the intention to find the ski. I'm going in with the intention to find an attack. So just watch this. If this again is not quite the case when we're not working with a partner, but get the sentences like this. I want to be really balanced in this position, so that if the person does, for example, something like this and is really off the line with the blend, with the blocking receipt, I basically come here and I just go onto the wrist. So I'm just looking for my next attack. And the reason I make that ski is because basically the person's done this and is basically on the center line. So they're basically holding the center line again, or they're intending to take it back. If the person's just doing the form, something like that, then they're totally open. So I just go straight onto the wrist with it. We don't do it in training, but know that it's also possible to do these kind of things. But the point of that is I should be in a position where I can go into other things. So it shouldn't be that I'm going into it with the idea that, oh, I'm just going into the ski. Then we're just doing by numbers, basically. And it's not really so interesting just to perform the movement. That's just the real kind of beginning of it. But just get a sense that ski's basically a choice. And I'm doing it to save myself and find the attack. So just feel that it's got a kind of really clear intent. Yeah. But I've also got other options if they present themselves. Something like that, straight in. There we go. That's good. Yeah, and then we'll just go into the receiving side. So something a little bit softer. You come in, find the block, and then you roll it walking down, pressing down. So it's got this kind of quality. And then from here, the person's come through with the ski, so you roll back and you find the center line this way. So again, your left side forward, roll back, find the block, press through the center, and then roll through to the back this way. Here, it was 1, 2, 3, straight through. And you're really trying to finish right there, or you're trying to find the center line with the ski. That's it, good. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, so we'll go to number 3. So we'll skip 1 and 2. We'll just look at 3 and then we'll take it somewhere else also. So we'll look, the attacking side is actually the very similar, so it's very simple. It's really the first movement that's complex in this one. So what you do in this case is a very similar movement. You've got the center line. So think that the first movement always in the kumitachi is basically the strategy. So the first movement is this one from number 1 where you're giving an opening. So the first one is offering an opening. The second one's where we basically blend it together. And then I'm open for an attack and I defend from it. Number 3 is where you're in total stalemate, and what you're going to do is really take the person out of the line. So what the intention to do here is we're connected, we've got the contact, and then what I'm trying to do is press the sword out of the way to come in for an attack. So it's got a little bit more of an aggressive quality. So I'm not giving an opening, I'm not blending it up, I'm actually just trying to press the person off the center line. So this has a very similar feeling to what we've just done in number 7. So this contact and then the hip pressing through, coming to here. What this movement's got a little bit more is a little bit more aggressive, because what I need to do is slam the person off the center line. So I want them to feel this being pressed out off the center line, so that I can come straight in and take the center line, the attack. So just feel you've got good connection here, and then what you do is like this, 1, 2, and we'll just go straight into an attack like this. This is my intention with it. So it's to press the sword out and either strike in for the head or thrust into the body. So depending what happens with the person. But it's got now a really sharp quality. So it's got this coming right in. Just play with it a little bit. And the first do it is kind of 2 movements. We call this a snap. So it's like a kind of snapping movement. It's got a comes back to the center. There we go. Yeah. Okay, just watch this, because this is a really tricky movement. Actually, this is really tricky to do well. So you need 2 things with it. It needs to be without a signal, and it also needs to be very effective. So you can have one without the other, and really, this is where it doesn't go well. The first thing is just watch for something like this happening. This. So just watch for like that happens, where basically the hips get pulled out by it. Really think that's a hip movement, which is going to just snap the sword, snap the sword, snap the sword, but it's not going to get pulled out by the sword this way. So just watch what happens when you do the hip work. So it's like this. My intention is to go straight onto the line, but it needs to have a kind of aggressive quality as well, because it can't just be something like a push. A push will just be absorbed, and I'll come onto the wrist as the attacker. So if it's like a pushing movement, I'll just absorb it, and I just come onto the wrist. So it needs to have this quality, which is like that with the person. So the person needs to go boom, straight away with it. Just give it a try. So focus mostly on the hip. And it's a very subtle kind of hip work, very, very subtle movement, but it's very powerful as well. Go. Here we go. That's it. Good job. Nice. Good. So we'll take it a step further. In this case, so you've got this movement here, the snap, and then coming in for the attack. Now that's my intention. What you do is straight away, if you've got someone that's switched on, so if this doesn't happen to them and you've totally disconnected them, if they're connected, what they'll do is receive that snap and come straight around with it. So they'll basically feed off the snap. So if they're really connected to the center, what will happen is the sword will just connect through and they'll go straight into the attack. So feel that that's happening now. So as you come in, they're basically fed off it and the sword's basically on top of you straight away. So if you've got someone really good at this that can really do it,
they feed off it, and straight away the sword's right in the neck. So if I attempt anything like this coming through, I'm just going to get cut with the body. So just feel now there's this very, very sharp change. I've got the intention to go in, and then I find it back. And I've not got a lot of time, especially in this form. So what you've got is the snap and then a drawback right into a block. So I need to convert that snap right away back to the hip and get the hips in this way. So just feel that's one movement now. So it's like there, there. And again, it can be done very slow, but just feel that it's one thing, there, there. Sometimes this is taught as 3 movements, like 1, 2, 3. It actually breaks that first moment down, which is very, very, it's a very, very dangerous position to be in. So what I want is really a quick change to go through it. Quick change. Quick change. Let's try it. That's it. Yeah, and what you'll notice with this one, if when you go to the next movement, if my block's not really functioning totally as a block, so let's say it's something like this, then the person will just hit it and then they will come onto the other side. So if the person's used to kind of receiving, they will just feed off it straight away and come into this. So the feeling in that block is you need to hold the person a little bit. So you need to like put the brakes on the person. So when you're coming in, have the sense that what you're doing is really drawing them out. So I really want to press into the center when I do it. So the parallel with these kind of movements when we do taijutsu work is these kind of movements where I'm trying to really blend and pause the person. So I'm not trying to do something like that, which will just get either collapsed in or they'll just come around and attack again. So I need to have the sense that the movement of the block is like this kind of feel. So it's got this kind of quality, and it's really to stop them. It's not to stop them, it's to put the brakes on them. So it's really it's to buy me time to be able to get in position to make the strike this way. Just give it a try. Again, it's about the intention, what I'm thinking about when I do it. Really get this sense of drawing the person out. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. Nice. Great. And then we just go to the finish. So you've got three movements, but that first one, the first 2 are really 1. So you've got like 1, 2, and then hit 3. So 3 is the shortest form that we've got. So really, really short, very contained. So it's 1, 2, 3. So it's a very, very fast form. 1, 2, rolling back, 3, find the hip. Really, really fine work. 1, 2, 3, coming in. I'm going to try. That's it. Oh, okay. Nice. And then just play with this a little bit more flowing now. So you've got this moves into this. So that as soon as you've got the block, think that the person's received the block, and again, the sword straight onto the body. So think that you don't have a lot of time for this. If I've kind of adequately slowed them down, I've got just enough time to find the cut to finish them, but not a lot of time. So really think that now this is going to be like 1. Again, it can be as slow as you like, but just feel that it's one thing. Oh, that was weak. Really get the block heavy. That. That. Oh, that's. Whoosh. There we go. Yeah, this is a really easy one because it's quite condensed. Then if I've not really got the compressions there, the body will start to kind of jump out. So the body will start to do something like this. It will look like this. The body will kind of skip up and out. If you watch the videos of Saitsen when he does them full speed, it looks like he just walks back. So he just walks back, dun, 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 like this. And it's really casual, totally casual when he does it. So just get a sense that even though you're bringing the hips into it, you're fully kind of trying to ground down. But think it needs to be a very mobile thing. So I can't think about that. That's really too much kind of movement in terms of oscillating in and out of the ground. So think that the ground's here, ground, 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 as you go into it. Just think about, it's like a soft movement back, but it should be nice and full. Just that. And you can do it as slow as you like. Sometimes really slow is better to get a sense of how the feet are working backwards. There. That's it. Yeah. Nice. Okay, now, so there's some nice ones. I'll give you just two that you can play with. So from position, you've got two variations. You've got tons of variations actually. The first one, go from this, it's like this, and then rather than step back and receive it, actually come straight inside, go here, straight in underneath it. So the blade's going to come straight in. This really needs to be super fast. So you've not got a lot of time, so it needs to be very direct. You've got this, straight in. And the body's going to go straight down the line. So this is a really great variation because the body just wedges straight in. So there's no sense of coming off the line at all. So when you do this one, it's this and then this. Comes straight in. So I'm really taking control of the line. It's this. Goes straight in. Give it a try. It's a great one for the hips. Yeah. Good. Yeah, so it's really based on the ski work. If you think about this from before, like this coil that goes to the arms and the coil that goes into the ground, you've got the same kind of dynamic. The coil's now going to rise up this way. So it's really got a very efficient movement. So the coil rolls in this way. But just watch for something like this. Boom, putting it into place. Just think that the whole movement is coiling into it. So the whole thing's the power in this case. This is kind of a threatening movement, not really a thrust in. Although it can be. It's really just a holding position. That goes right into it. Give it a try. Super spirally. There we go. Okay, and then the other one I'll show you is just as it comes in this way. So as you go into the block, this one, again, coming back, what you do now is you wedge again in, you're going to raise up, and then you shift the hand in, and you press through it this way. So this hand's really cutting in this way. So rather than a block back this way, you're going to wedge the whole body in, straight in. So in this case, this is cutting straight through the person. So this is where you don't care what happens with the attack. You're just going to go straight into the body this way. And it's really going to compress down. So you need someone with good ukemi skills to do this, but this comes right in. So your intention is really to cut onto the body. You parry out this. This is really a life or death movement. It either works totally or it fails totally. So there's no kind of there's no kind of gray area. This one works or doesn't. Whoa! So you've really got to commit to this one. Whoa! Go straight in. That's it. That's it. Yeah, just watch the hand play. When you do this one, be really careful of it because I don't want the hand somewhere like this. Because as I'm going through, there's a tendency like to think that the sword's also there. So I'm cutting the person, but I'm also going through the sword as well. So I want the hand to be basically behind the sword. So it's going to be in this kind of position. This wedges in. So my feeling is that cuts straight through. But just watch for being somewhere like that, pushing down, or being that, slightly missing it. So it's a really fine one, and you need it needs to be quite precise. So you need to take it really slow. But it's just that, that comes in. There we go.
But Michael, which part of the body do you cut or do you slice with a second move?
Oh, this guy, the person's coming in this way. So here, so what you're cutting is this part. So you're gonna cut right through the body. Yeah. So you're gonna cut basically the line of the gi. So you're gonna kind of cut through this. You're gonna cut through this way onto the body. So it's gonna cut through. It's gonna cut through that.
Hey,
It's gonna cut this way on the body. It will be this way. As I come in, this comes in that way.
Yep.
You need to do this kind of ukemi, like this, to get out of the way, if you want to save yourself. That's it. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. That's it. Whoa, I miss it. Whoa. There we go. Nice. Okie dokie, great. That's number 3. So we've done 1, 2, we've done 3. 4's a tricky one, and 5's a really tricky one. So we'll maybe try and cover them in the workshop, but we'll see how it goes. They're all based on really simple ideas, so nice and fun. Nice. Domo, arigato gozaimashita.
Domo, arigato gozaimashita.
Good.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.